Why are so many people today buying real estate in the Dominican Republic, choosing it over other options in the Caribbean region? Of course, every place has its pros and cons, but in my opinion, the Dominican Republic has far more advantages than other places, and the drawbacks are practically non-existent. What are the advantages of the Dominican Republic? Well, first of all, it's the climate. In many places, the weather is wonderful in winter, but extremely hot in summer. In the Dominican Republic, however, the difference between the winter months and summer is minimal. It is very rare to experience extreme heat here, and there is always a refreshing sea breeze. Secondly, there are no destructive hurricanes. Of course, there is bad weather here sometimes, but not often, and it usually just means strong winds and heavy rain. Sometimes this can damage the homes of local residents in poor areas, but it does not affect the concrete complexes built along the coastline at all. Next is the location. It is very easy to get here from the USA and Canada. For example, a flight from Toronto to Punta Cana takes only 4 hours, and from many places in the US it's even faster. There are several major international airports here and numerous daily flights from different countries around the world. From Toronto alone, more than 20 flights depart daily to the Dominican Republic on various airlines, and tickets are much cheaper than to other places in the Caribbean. The fact that it is easy and inexpensive to get to the Dominican Republic is a huge advantage. You're unlikely to visit the Caribbean on weekends, but in Punta Cana, I know many property owners who often come here just for the weekend to play golf or relax on the beach. The Dominican Republic is a favorite winter destination for Canadian and American retirees. For them, a very important factor is the low cost of living, meaning their pension is more than enough for a comfortable life. In addition, healthcare is important, and here it is at a fairly high level. For example, most people who have dealt with healthcare in both Canada and the Dominican Republic claim that Dominican healthcare is better than Canadian in every way. Getting a residence permit in the Dominican Republic is easy. Provide purchased real estate details plus steady income proof. You can obtain a residence permit quite quickly. There are all sorts of entertainment options here. I often hear from our clients who now already own property here but used to come only for vacations at all-inclusive hotels that they never really knew the Dominican Republic before. And that's absolutely true. You definitely won't be bored here. Over the past decade, the Dominican authorities have paid a lot of attention to developing infrastructure. Excellent highways have been built here connecting the main cities of the Dominican Republic, which means today you can cross the country from west to east in just 6 hours and from south to north in less than 3 hours. It's important that Dominican Republic law aims to encourage people to invest in the country. Foreigners here have the same rights as local residents. You don't need to register a company to purchase real estate. Ownership is registered to an individual. When you buy new construction, you receive a full exemption from property taxes for 15 years. And after 15 years, the tax here is minimal. By the way, since I've already mentioned taxes in Punta Cana, I've met quite a few Canadians who moved here specifically to minimize their taxes. If you become a tax resident of the Dominican Republic, you pay taxes according to Dominican laws, not Canadian ones, and that is significantly less. And finally, the cost of real estate. Most experts believe that real estate here is currently significantly undervalued compared to other places in the Caribbean region. Over the past 5 years, a large number of luxury complexes have been built here. Almost all of them are condo hotels where, when the owners are not using the apartment themselves, they can rent it out through the condo hotel management. This is a very convenient option. The apartment generates excellent passive income for you from short-term rentals. And considering that prices are still low here, the daily rental rates are far from small. For example, the daily rental cost in luxury complexes in Punta Cana for a one-bedroom apartment is $150, and for a two-bedroom, it's $200 and up. Another important factor is that foreigners have access to loans here. And if you take out a loan through Scotiabank, the process is actually quite straightforward. And a loan taken out in the Dominican Republic will not appear on your credit history in Canada. Real estate loans here are available for up to 70% of the property's market value. However, interest rates here are a bit higher than in Canada. For example, today it's 8% per year. And in the best times, when in Canada we saw loans at 2 or 2.5%, in the Dominican Republic it was 4 to 5%. We work directly with the largest and most reliable developers in the Dominican Republic. You can find out more about the projects currently available for sale on our portal www.buycaribbeanhome.com. To have full access to the portal and the ability to see prices, floor plans, sales conditions, and available apartments, don't forget to register first and create your own login and password. This option is available only to registered users. This was Maksim Baginskiy with you. See you next time on the channel.